Happy Tuesday, channel surfers. Welcome to Remote Reality. I'm Lauren, your friend and host, who's an attorney that overanalyzes everything, even my favorite reality TV shows.
And I'm Dee, her paralegal and reluctant sidekick.
It's Tuesday, 90 Day the Other Way, Season 7, Episode 12, Pyala?
I couldn't pronounce it.
It was worth a shot. So this is Hindu for empty cup, which I pull out those tarot cards. We're getting a little hint as to what we're going to see with Jenny and Sumit today. Coffee cups, empty cups, no customers. What wasn't empty was all of the tips Rohit was giving them as far as business. Was he being an asshole? Are you, Rohit? Or was he right? Let's watch.
Remote reality, yeah, that's the key. Unlocking stories wild and free. With the host, side by side. Channel surfers, let's ride.
We're going to go couple by couple today. First up, we have Jenny, Spaghetti, and Sumit. They are 3 days into this business, and Rohit, he shows up unannounced. This is the guy that they were leasing the furniture from.
Yeah, he had already been through like 2 or 3 businesses of his own.
Wait, that wasn't his first rodeo. That man had been in the ring, riding the horses, trying to harness those bull down, but his businesses seemed to keep getting bulldozed, let's be honest. So we've got an empty cafe until our good friend Rohit shows up, and he is bringing all the sass. First thing is he has Jenny Spaghetti for some spaghetti. Jenny's like, no, we don't have spaghetti. All right, lies. We saw the menu during the inauguration. It said spaghetti on it. Jenny's like, you're not getting my spaghetti. You can keep walking. No. You ain't even worth the ragu sauce I put on it, sweetie.
Exactly.
And everybody seems really excited to see him. He's jabbing at Sumit. I think this was playful. This was edited into it. It's around 12:30 in the afternoon, and he points out that there's no customers. And Sumit's like, are you an idiot? These are college kids. This is a college hotspot. What does hotspot suggest to you?
It's going to be the happening place when the kids are there.
Okay, they're going to the Mac.
Congregate, yeah.
If this is Zach Morris and AC Slater, then Family Cafe is the Mac's restaurant. Sumit expects this guy to know the class schedules and the cycles, and he's just like, nah, man, there's nobody here. Not one person. Sumit's like, look around. Look at the other businesses. There's nobody anywhere. Your coffee sucks so bad that they don't even come to the hotspot anymore. They had to go down the street to the McDonald's. Nobody's here. I didn't even get my spaghetti. I'm wasting my lunch break. 12:30 is my lunch break. Or ahead, you're not in college. Well, then he goes up to Jenny. Jenny, you can't make the spaghetti today. Can you make the coffee? Well, yeah, sure. I make coffee. All right. How much is it going to be? Dee, you deep dove into this.
Yeah, she said 70 and 90
rupees.
Yeah. And when I looked it up, I actually think it told us on the screen, but it was like $1, a little over $1 for a cup of coffee, the large one.
And how does that compare to prices in India?
Well, the Starbucks, the same coffee, I think is
the cappuccino. We looked it up. It was 260 rupees, which is about $2.92 American.
And she's grinding the beans and everything in this machine. This is fresh coffee.
This is cappuccino. This is like what they serve at Starbucks. But honestly, I don't know if they're even grinding the beans. Channel surfers, let me know. Do they grind the beans fresh, or do they just pull the espresso beans out of a bag? And then even comparing it to McDonald's coffee, a different bean, a different quality, something that's sitting like sludge all day on a hot burner. McDonald's coffee there is 150 to 250 rupees. So again, 70 to 90, that is a good deal for India. And this isn't your McDonald's sludge. This is espresso. Saying it's so expensive, I think he was joking. The edit is trying to make him look like a jerk. Even later, Jenny walks up and gives him some coffee on the house. And he's like, no, too expensive for my blood. She's like, it's on the house. He's like, oh, no, still too expensive. Free is too much. And then she asks if he's going to tip, which if you're tipping on $1, says in India it's customary 10 to 15%. So 15-cent tip. She was joking too. She even flea swats at Rohit's head after. even though the edit tried to trick us, I'm getting more playful vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rohit also mocks the fact that Sumit's parents are cooking. Step back. In the United States, unless you're going to some high-end dining establishment or like a Michelin star restaurant, you're going to have anybody that's old enough to work cooking for you on the fryer or making your salads.
Yeah, there's no chefs in Cracker Barrel. Yeah. And that's one of my favorite places to go for home cooking.
You're telling me they didn't go to Johnson and Wales? What? They make delicious eggs. Rohit says they shouldn't be working. Jenny, she's lazy. She's just going to want to go home. I feel like she's already said she wanted to go home before. Did you hear that part? Are you sure he wasn't at the inauguration? He said he wasn't invited, and then he says that, your parents shouldn't be working to support this idea of yours. I get the feeling that the family is really excited about this business.
His brother quit his job. They're all in on this family business. And both of his parents, when you see them in the background, they're smiling. They seem to really be enjoying themselves.
Definitely more than Jenny. Some people don't want to just do nothing during retirement. You also might ask yourself, what business is it of Rohit's that Sumit's parents are working? When he walks in, he calls Sumit's dad uncle. So I think this is a cousin.
I do too.
Jenny says that Rohit's just being negative and judgmental. What do you think? Who's right here? Jenny and Sumit or Rohit?
Maybe a little bit of both. The guy had 3 businesses that weren't successful, and I think he might be a little bit of a Debbie Downer because he's, yeah, he might be a little bit of a Debbie Downer.
I am team Jenny and Sumit. I think that's what the edit wants. They're trying to make Rohit look at a bad guy. I don't think Rohit's a bad guy. I don't think he's been a successful businessman, but it's 3 days in. What criticism can you really have? Day 1, you're not even trying to turn a profit. So you're going to tell him his business is failing on 2 days when comparatively his prices are actually pretty good. Sumit, I think he's got a great idea. This is a college campus. He wants people to feel like when they're here, they're with family because they're away from family. So that's what I'm saying. This is like the Olive Garden of India. Come on in, eat my breadstick or potato roll or
spaghetti.
Whatever. They're spaghetti. Literally, they're serving the spaghetti. So I'm team Jenny and Sumit. I think it's a great idea. You can go down the street and get pizza, or you could come here and have Sumit's mom's home cooking.
I'd do that. I would love the home cooking.
But I also do not think Rohit is the asshole. I think he's just very sarcastic.
He might be just a little bit of both. I think he might be a little bit jealous, but he comes across in a joking way with it.
So speaking of Are You, which is a segment that we've done a few of where we look at Reddit and we ask, are you the asshole? Are you overreacting? Dee, are you the type of friend who is going to straight up tell someone your business is failing, you need to change it? Or are you the friend that's going to sit there and drink the sludge and tell them their coffee is delicious?
Oh, I'm probably going to be more the honest friend. I'm not going to, for sure. I'm not going to be an ass about it, but if I was asked. If I'm not asked, I'm not going to lie and say the coffee's good, but I'm not going to give my opinion either.
If it's a business, I probably would be honest. If somebody makes something and gives it to me, I'll probably lie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
You're
tiki
right.
marsala is delicious.
Yeah. You're right.
Well, Manon and Anthony. So this episode starts out, this segment, with a cat eating a charcuterie board. It has a knife. It has some sort of pickled, looks like squash in a jar. It has a ball of cheese it's eating. Damn, this cat has eaten better than I have today.
The only thing missing is a glass of wine.
I've had a Tums.
I think I've had a cheese stick.
See, eating better than you two. I've dressed up in this classic French stereotype. I've got this striped shirt on, the tied silk scarf in my hair. I didn't have a beret. But man, they are yucking up Manon and Anthony with these French stereotypes. I looked up the top 10 French stereotypes. They checking them off the list. The next thing I think we're going to see is them sitting at the Eiffel Tower smoking. We've got French people wear berets and striped shirts. French people are dirty. Well, the ones at the farm, I guess, are. according to Manon.
That's
French
the
people-
goats.
French people are rude, which I think we saw them try to edit that with the aunt where she was looking disinterested
Mhm.
after the baptism, but she was smiling when she was talking to Manon. French people eat a lot of baguettes, which apparently is true, and that they eat a lot of cheese, which apparently is true.
So do I.
So do I. Bonjour.
Like a couple of my favorite things.
Well, I always buy a big thing of processed American cheese slices. Okay, so not French, but they don't eat a lot of processed cheese.
Hey, you
They
may
do it straight from the petite.
Yeah.
French people drink a lot of wine. Also true. We need to go to France. That's it.
What's our excuse?
We're out of here.
Are you? So do South Carolinians.
French people are amazing lovers. So I think Anthony's laying in some pipe. I don't think Manon would be there if he wasn't. She's putting up with a lot of shit for that pipe. I'm all dressed up like a French stereotype. Let me give my interpretation of how the scene starts. Going on a date, Mommy and Daddy. We are going away to eat cheese and having some fun eating cheese. It's going to be some really good cheese. Oh, I can't wait to eat the cheese.
This is no Wisconsin cheddar. It's fromage. Yeah, très authentique.
So what is this? Is it a cheese store where they sell cheese?
Yes, it's an authentic cheese experience. We're going to get some cheese that's banned in the U.S. because, those regulations. Who cares about the regulations? I always fantasized about getting a goat, making some cheese, and having a goat mow my grass.
Anthony, did you bring me to a freaking farm?
Yeah. Did I say authentic wrong in French? I meant farm to table.
Anthony, I did not dress appropriately for these goats. I would have worn a sexy chic outfit for the farm, but instead I'm in a do not want business. They do not want to sign something. They do not want to work with my marketing company. Anthony, give me my perfume and something to hold my nose. This is...
Hey, folks, I'm the farmer, and do you want to taste my cheese?
Yes, I am here to eat cheese. Yes, the cheese.
Okay, well, come on. You gotta pull some teats first.
So we begin today's adventure with Anthony taking Manon to a goat farm. He was trying to plan this thoughtful date. Another French stereotype. Let's go to the countryside and milk some goats and eat some cheese. But Manon is grossed out, and I don't blame her.
Yeah. And how bad of him not to tell her at least how to dress, because she's like all dressed up in what looks like exactly a business suit. She's got these heels on her boots, and she's walking
Big
through this
heels.
shit.
Honest though, yeah, it's muddy, it's shitty. That's how she usually dresses. Imagine if we went in our usual attire with our flip-flops.
Well, I'd have to get out of my pajamas, but
We'd be walking through sludge and flip-flops. At least she had some boots.
if you didn't want to tell her, maybe be considerate enough to throw some water boots or something in the car she could change into.
Here's my hot take. This date was all about Anthony. His fantasy is to milk goats. He wasn't thinking about Manon in this date. He's like, oh, French people eat cheese. Great. Let's go to this thing so I can hang out with goats and you'll get some cheese. He didn't even think to tell her to change her outfit.
No, it was awful. It was awful. I don't blame her. I'd have been upset too.
She walks into the barn and it smells horrible. She's outside. I was like, is she doing cocaine? She's spraying something up her nose. She's got something clipped to it.
She had a miniature perfume bottle, so she sprays that all over, and she's holding it to her nose so that she can smell the top of the perfume instead of the shit around her.
Nothing like perfume poop.
Yeah.
It's like when you spray the poopery after. You do it before. The goats are really cute.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give them that. Cute animals for the date. And then she goes, are these a bunch of butts looking at me?
They're giving me the side eye.
You just see a line of
Butts and assholes.
goat butts. They're giving her the brown eye. This was also set up for drama. I don't think people go to this farm to get the full farm experience and milk the goats. These goats are milked by machine. They got goat titty pumps in there. This farmer isn't letting anybody touch his goat titty pumps. I mean, you could break it, you could attach it wrong. This was production setting up some French stereotypes to serve us. And Manon, she is there for the cheese, not the cheesy date. I feel like she's acting.
It does seem a little over dramatic, but she seems to be that way in a lot of things. I love her, so it doesn't really matter to me. Look, her pissed off is nothing like I would have been if I had showed up in that outfit someplace like that.
It gave me very Green Acres vibes. Like, I was like, this is Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Yeah, without changing her clothes.
I feel like she was playing the part.
Yeah.
She says Anthony keeps trying to negotiate with her to get his way. This isn't negotiating. I don't feel like she's getting any sort of consideration. He just talks to her until she does what he wants.
Yeah, this was complete manipulation. There was no negotiating in that whatsoever. Look, he's been married to her long enough to know damn good and well she wouldn't like something like that. But he did it anyway.
He tries to package it as this romantic date with sunset cheese and on the countryside. That's what he wanted. Manon does say moving to France has worked out as far as Ben, but it's been rough with Anthony. There's no intimacy. They're exhausted. Do you think this is just kind of family growing pains? I think a lot of people go through that, feeling tired when you have a young kid, not having time for the intimacy.
It could be, but how would they really know? They've been taken out of their home environment. They're living with her parents in a small bedroom. There's no privacy. They've got Ben sleeping with them in this tiny bed, so they can't be comfortable. You can't really say. If you were in your own environment, it may not be as bad as what it seems like right now.
So is Manon being too high maintenance? Or is Anthony inconsiderate and just picking his fantasy date?
I think he was picking his fantasy date with them goats.
He hasn't had intimacy in a while. Maybe he's just helping him over the fence. Just hold them by their hips, push them up over the fence. Just helping them over the fence. I promise.
Ooh.
When I was in college, I took this anthropology of magic and religion, and we learned about all different kinds of religions and like the societies that they came out of. And I just remember a professor saying back then it didn't matter what people smelled like because they weren't showering. That's why people were doing bestiality. Doesn't matter. That sheep is fine. Just helping them over the fence. I'll never forget. Chloe and Johnny are back this week. And we pick up with where Michelle has offered for them to come to Boston. Johnny didn't want to do that. He says, I love the water. This is my life. This is where I live. I don't want to leave.
I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to leave there either.
In Michelle's opinion, the U.S. would be a better life. Chloe could have the job she says that we always planned. That puts some pressure on Chloe. You are supposed to be my sidekick in this.
Yeah, there was a position that was her goal in the company, and that's what they had been planning. Now she can't.
And then she could probably get Johnny a job, which, let's be fair, Chloe would love for him to stop working on a boat. They wouldn't have to pay rent. Is she saying that they would live with her?
I don't know what kind of business she has. Maybe there's some corporate apartments or something. I don't know. Maybe she's got a pool house.
As far stuck up Chloe's butt as Michelle is, I would not want to live with her. This is like one of those shows they used to have on TLC with the moms that were just way too involved with her.
Last week's episode, I was thinking she had some reasonable concerns as her mom. I get it. But after watching this week, she's gone over the top. She's went past what should be just a normal motherly concern.
She thinks they're going to jump at it. Then Johnny comes back with, I think you appreciate things more when you accomplish them.
When you meet those goals.
And her response is, I know. I started my own business. You don't have to tell me. Look, Michelle, Johnny's not telling you he doesn't think that you've worked hard. He's telling you your daughter has had everything handed to her, and she has lost a grasp of reality.
Yeah, she doesn't get it one bit, and I think it would be a good lesson for her to learn.
Even though Michelle has been there before,
Mhm.
she's lost out on some of this reality as well. Because she tells Johnny, I don't think that your job is going to support Chloe's spending. So in reality, you lose your job. What do? Do you keep spending like your typical lifestyle? No, you adjust. You are adaptable. Chloe, though, has never had to worry about that. She has had this safety net. Her mom is not teaching her how to adjust and be adaptable. And if something happens to her mom or something happens to her wealth, which we've seen people lose lots of money as debtors attorneys. If something happens, what does Chloe do? She doesn't have that life skill.
She doesn't. In the show, we haven't seen her show that she's willing to give up her lifestyle.
Which is, again, why Johnny thought cutting her off was a good idea.
I agree.
What he said, 100%. Things mean more when you accomplish them. I'm just speaking from what I've seen. When somebody has had everything handed to them and they get to be in their 40s, 30s, they wonder what they're doing with their life. If they've never had to work for anything. And it's sad. 100% Team Johnny on this. The wine is starting to kick in. Chloe, she's ordering another glass. She's like, holy shit, Mom, continue. But if you're going down this path, I'm going to need some more wine to deal with you. And Michelle, she's getting all in her feelings. She's like, not yet. Let me finish this glass first. Okay, Channel Surfers. Dee had to run and pick up her dog from the groomers. Things are just crazy. With Thanksgiving, I'm leaving tomorrow. Since things are a little cray, I'm just going to finish up the episode. We'll pick up where we left off. Michelle, she starts getting in her feelings and she says, what's going to happen to me? If Chloe is here in Aruba, she's worried that they are going to drift apart. And this part kind of got to me because Johnny has lost his mother, and that could be a good thing in Boston. She's experiencing a loss of Chloe. That's her big fear. It's not that she doesn't think Johnny is capable of taking care of Chloe. It's not that she doesn't realize that Chloe can give up these luxuries, but it's this fear. She's extremely close to her daughter, and she just never expected her daughter to move overseas to be with somebody. Chloe even starts sniffling here. So Chloe decides to confide in her mom. When we go to the next scene, they're sitting on the beach. Her mom can't let go of Boston. Chloe, you gotta come back to Boston. It's beautiful. It's icy. It's the best for you. Honestly, I would rather be in Aruba as well. And maybe Chloe's the same way. We know that Michelle likes the nicer things, works hard for them, but some people like a more laid back life. They don't need the fancy things. And Chloe hasn't really had that chance to experience what she likes. She's got to let her go and give her a chance to figure it out herself. I mean, she likes Johnny, and that's the scary thing. Michelle's money isn't working for her right now. So Chloe, one of her concerns about Boston is the K-1 visa process. It takes longer. She doesn't want to be away from him. Their relationship can't take it. Michelle says, don't you think that if you're marrying this person, your relationship should be able to survive a little bit of distance? Which, yeah, we have been screaming that. We have been saying that from the beginning. You got to trust the person that you're with. Marriage isn't going to fix that. Moving to Aruba and having cameras and climbing up in palm trees and watching him work isn't going to fix whatever is going on inside of you. Is she going to listen to her mom? No. I mean, kind of interestingly, when she goes to defend the reason she has trust issues to explain that to her mom, she tells Michelle that early in the relationship, she thought that her and Johnny were more serious than he did. It doesn't sound like they had the were monogamous talk. In fact, Johnny says that he was in open relationships. Should he have told her he was seeing other people? That depends on how serious it was. I mean, they were in 2 different countries. They maybe saw each other for a few weeks. But she tells her mom that he took a woman from Aruba to Florida for her birthday. And the part that really rubs me the wrong way is that he said it was a guy's trip. So that was a lie. That was deceitful. That part would make me wonder what else he's hiding. She's got to decide if the guy he's marrying is a guy that she can't trust. And if she can't trust him, I agree with Michelle here. Chloe, you need to end it. I was surprised by Michelle's reaction, though. Michelle is like, I cannot believe he cheated on you. Not, I can't believe he lied to you, but wow, the infidelity. I'm going to have a talk with Johnny. I am not happy about this. back up. This is your adult child in an adult relationship. She told you that they weren't serious. Like, some of this was in her head. He's been really wonderful since they've agreed that they are committed to each other. This is Michelle looking for any desperate reason to get Chloe to come home. At this point, Michelle's realizing she doesn't need me anymore. She needs Chloe to need her. It's not about Johnny not being able to support her. This is the mom feeling like she's losing her daughter. The thing that has bonded them has been the fact that her daughter needs her for financial support. And now that she's been dependent, Michelle doesn't like this. Michelle feels like that is going to completely cut their ties. When you've set up your relationship as all I'm going to do is provide these things for you, that's my worth to you, and maybe that's all that Michelle feels like she's worthy of when it comes to Chloe, then it can be scary when this person is saying, okay, well, I'm going to a different country and I'm going to start my own life and I don't need those finances. So is this tough love that Michelle is giving to protect Chloe from a cheater? Or is this manipulation, trying to force Chloe to go back to Boston? I feel like she's just waiting on the excuse to pull the plug on the Rubik experiment. This is manipulation. She is coming down way too hard for 4 days in. But I think it's done out of fear and love. Not that that's okay, but maybe there's some room for them to understand that and work things out. And speaking of showing your love by providing support to somebody, we're going to Luke and Madeline. All right. So you guys know I've been super hard on Luke. I've acknowledged that some of this could be the edit, but I did something. I went back. I watched Love in Paradise. I wanted to get the down low. I wanted to see where this couple came from. I wanted to see who this Brian dude was. I was surprised. They seem much more lovely in the Love in Paradise. Like, they actually seem to like each other. Madeline shows up at the airport. She has balloons for him, and they're just so happy to see each other. She lets go of the balloons by accident. He helps boost her up to get the balloons, and there seems to be a lot less drama. One thing that was kind of weird is they really play up how young Madeline is in the Love in Paradise. She's got this giant stuffed animal. She's sitting there playing with her Rubik's Cube. And in those moments, I know I've said I think she's young, but in those moments, I'm like, whoa, she is very young for this 30-year-old. But it did give me a different impression of Luke. Thinking back on it, they started out on Love in Paradise, which is one of the less watched 90-day shows. And now they're on The Other Way, which is one of the more watched 90-day shows. Maybe if audiences watch and are interested, they can get on HEA. Let's be honest, Luke is in debt. So are they playing up this part? Are we really fighting and then the next day making up and fighting and the next day making up? I'm not saying that couples don't do that. I'm not saying that they're not doing it. Is Luke really this stupid? Luke has no dignity left at this point, but he has been trying to win back Madeline's affection. And my God, if you would have told me last week that Luke would speak my love language, I would have laughed at you. No way in hell. The dude brought her a puppy. That is my love language. Dogs. Do I like Luke now? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, a lot. Not only does he bring her this adorable little puppy, it's so fluffy. It looks like a teddy bear, but he says we should name it Chewbacca or Chewie, which I'm such a Star Wars nerd. So I was like, yes, buy me puppies, Luke. I actually thought about naming my dogs Luke and Leia. Luke and Chewbacca. Oh, I love it. Madeline, though, she wants to name the dog Cairo, not like Egypt, but she says it means something like God has perfect timing. Like next perfect time for you to break up with him. Not right now. You just got a puppy. Like maybe the next time you want to add a puppy to the family, you'll break up with him for another puppy. This could be a scheme. We could run this scheme to get puppies, Madeline. Like every time you're ready for a cute little new fluffy face in the house, just throw a fight and then tell him a puppy would fix it. Puppies fix everything, right? I mean, at least this is what Luke is believing when he's going into it, giving Madeline the puppy. After this talk that Luke had with Brian, he realizes Madeline doesn't stay happy for long. They're less than a week away from the wedding. And he's maybe starting to wonder if the wedding won't fix things. No, Luke, wedding won't fix things. You're marrying who you're marrying. Is he really listening to Brian? Doubtful, because he bought her a puppy and thought that would fix things. And guess what? It was really cute, and it kind of tilted my heart a little bit toward Luke. I mean, for me, maybe it made him more likable, but no, it did not fix things. Babies don't fix things. Puppies don't fix things. In fact, it can make things more stressful. So they're riding in the car, Luke and Madeline, and the puppies are in Luke's lap. He's going, look, I'm a good guy. Dogs like me, which, true. Dogs usually do have a good sense of judgment, except for like when they eat their own poop and stuff. Maybe them liking Luke is like eating their own poop. Madeline is like, no, they like me more. And one of her dogs goes and sits in her lap. She's like, see? And then Luke says, well, I take care of the dogs. And Madeline says, well, you'll leave your dick-smelling boxers all over the floor. You don't take care of that. And earlier in the episode, when he brings the dog in, he's like, look, I got this cute little dog for you. She's like, look, I got your boxers. So they need to have a talk about what each of them are responsible for in the house. It's kind of important with the relationships. You know, if he's taking more care of the dogs and she is taking care of the clothes, maybe that's what they're happy with. The way Luke is talking to Madeline, I'm the only one that takes care of the dogs. If she does anything to help with the dogs, that's completely discrediting it. Like if she brushes the dogs, maybe he's taking more care of them, but this could also be exaggerated. Luke is saying, look, this isn't the relationship that I want. What the heck, Luke? This isn't the relationship you want, because every time you and Madeline break up, you're begging for it back. You're not asking, this isn't the relationship I asked for. No, this is the relationship you are begging for. You are buying flowers. You are flying overseas. You are buying puppies. She is who she is. Now, I guess to be fair, she's 20, so there's still a lot of brain development to go on. She's still figuring out a lot of stuff in her life. The thing is, she's young. We don't know what she's going to figure out. We don't know where she's going to mature to. That's what happens when you date a child. And he even sits there and says, look, I'm arguing with a 20-year-old. Yeah, you're dating one. That's why you're arguing with somebody who at times seems absurd. Now, for her age, no. I think she seems like some other 20-year-old girls. If a 40-year-old was acting this way, I would have a lot more judgment. I have to reserve some of it because Madeline, she's still becoming an adult. Another thing, Madeline says that it is Luke's job to provide for her. This actually reminded me a lot of Allie and Anton on Love is Blind Denver. Allie was from Brazil, and she said in her culture that men support women. So from a cultural perspective, Madeline may have those expectations. It doesn't mean that she shouldn't be kind to him or appreciate it, but it's kind of like what Johnny said. If you're just expected it to be handed to you, you're not going to appreciate it as much as if you don't expect it. And Luke, being from the U.S., that's not necessarily the expectation. There's a wide variety of expectations. I did not expect any support financially from a spouse. There's people who still expect to find somebody who will take care of them financially. But with that range of expectations, I don't know. I don't know what the culture is where Madeline is from. And also, not saying that that's what maybe Madeline would even expect with the way she was raised by a single parent. She clearly can see that she needs to rely on herself because you never know what will happen. But I just thought it was interesting. We see she has a BMW this episode. Who do you think's paying for the BMW? You think pay for the keys to that beam and picking them up? I think it was Luke. So the question here, will grand gestures and apologies fix fundamental incompatibility? No, they won't. But they'll be entertaining as hell for 90 Day the other way. And we'll just jump on this roller coaster ride and get through all the ups and downs. I wonder what she'll get next. I mean, we went from flowers to a puppy. It's got to up its game. Does it need to be something better next time? All right, channel surfers. Well, thank you for listening to 90 Day. I will be back later this week with a special episode. It might just be me. I might have a co-host, but it won't be Dee. She has cooking to do. I wanted to give you guys something to listen to when maybe you're dealing with your family and you're just tired of hearing them scream at each other. You listen to my family scream at each other. That would be fun. All right, Channel Surfers, I will see you later this week, and we'll be back on Monday. Sunday Night Sister Wives comes on. We'll be back on Monday with that recap. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Let's ride.
Tune in.